What is up, everybody? I am Ant, and I am joined by my good friend and co-host, my man. Introduce yourself, sir.
This is Tyler Peters, and I'm just happy to be with Ant, and we're going to talk some Raw Is War. And what an interesting time, as we mentioned off air right before starting to record the program, Ant.
Yeah.
There's just a lot to dive into on this particular episode. I'm excited because it happened in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm just down the road, about 45 minutes from the Music City. So that's another reason I'm excited to discuss and break it down, much like DX would say, this episode of Raw.
Yes, I'm excited to break it down, like you said. So this episode of Raw it's actually our Attitude Years episode 27. And we're covering Raw Is War, May 18th, 1998 in Nashville, Tennessee. You are the only 10 I see.
There you go. Yeah, I'm the only Tennessean, I guess, representing actually on the podcast, uncensored. And I'll tell you what, if you've listened to the episode from last week, you know how uncensored it can get. I mean, I didn't even realize we were recording. We were live, and
that was
here I am just talking, in general, and you're like, the red light's on, Tyler. So we all had a good laugh about it.
Did you say I think you said what? Like
yeah, I did the Austin. Hey, I think that was later, but I did what? What'd you say? What'd you say? Let me open up a can on you, bud.
You're shooketh, man. Well,
yeah.
We have a oh, well, there we go. Thank you.
Well,
Mom.
See, there you go. Hey, my mother's
Thank
a great.
Mom.
Hey, listen, we are live. We're live, pal.
It'd be funny if she calls again, then that will be a joke.
Well, that will be a good running joke. I mean, don't feel bad
when your mom calls while you're trying to record. Stop it, Mom.
Yeah, we're just having fun. It's live. Things happen. I've heard even the big time podcasts have their issues, and to me, this is big time.
You're like, oh shit. Big time, the Peter Gabriel song.
Oh yeah, I know. And you always segue nicely, and we're gonna have to cue those songs up at some points. Yeah,
it big time.
Yeah, big time. Sing it, man. That's what the audience wants you to kind of do more karaoke, I feel.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think half of the audience are gonna go get deaf if they continue to want that.
That's just part of a storyline to me. If they're going to go deaf, we'll just have to not wish that, but I mean, we can't help it. Are we held responsible?
Well, we are uncensored, so I mean, they know that going into it. So it's kind of like the whole little caution warning before.
It's in their contract, so they talk to attorneys. I mean, we can't help you. We're only here to entertain everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
I know now the Backstreet Boys are creeping back in, and we wanted to leave them alone, but I said everybody. I said a key word. You said
you were a Backstreet Boy.
Well, don't remind. I shouldn't have laughed so loud in the mic, but I couldn't help it. I'm glad I didn't have a drink in my mouth. I would have spit it out of laughter. Yeah. Where were we? I mean, Backstreet Boys threw me off.
It's funny because we're talking about the Backstreet Boys, but the boys that we're going to talk about are Vince McMahon, Gerald Brisco, and Patterson. Imagine them if they were dancing and singing.
And they were singing everybody. That would be classic. Vince McMahon, everybody.
Yeah.
There you go.
Crickets.
Yeah. I mean, you could see Vince trying to do it, though. You could just see.
Vince would do it just like that because he'd think that everyone was really into it.
He's like, stand back, everybody. Come on,
I was
Pat
listening
Gerald.
to us the other day, and I was laughing at the. I think I made a comment along the lines of that Vince McMahon stole the whole raspy voice from Luna Vachon because he.
I think he did. I think. Luna, we always think of maybe Road Warrior Animal, but Vince did have that type of voice.
Like when he introduces the people.
He does. It's like WrestleMania. It's like, okay, maybe if they go on Ancestry, maybe Luna and the McMahon family, the Vachons, are somehow tied together. I don't know. Where were we again?
Well, we were talking about Vince McMahon. And Gerald Brisco and Pat Patterson. That's my voice. Isn't that cool?
I like that. Yeah, that's a different Vince McMahon. But hey, to each their own, and I enjoy that.
Well,
Do that again. Yeah, I want to see how often. Yeah.
Okay. Vince McMahon, Gerald Brisco, and Patterson.
There you go, folks. He did it, and I didn't have to cue him. I mean, he is so versatile with his talents. It's amazing. Yeah, cannoli. I could use one of those. Send those down south. We don't have the good Italian food up there like in Connecticut, New York, or Chicago, all your big cities. And I'll say that, and I'm sure Nashville's got some nice places. Who knows?
Well, speaking of Nashville, maybe Vince, Brisco, and Patterson can try some of that. But before they do, Vince comes out and they all say, Vince says, as a result of my devastating clothesline delivered to Stone Cold Steve Austin last week, it is rumored he suffered a mild concussion. He might try to extract revenge against my associates and I. If he did, what happened last week will be nothing compared to tonight. For Stone Cold Steve Austin's protection, I have barred Stone Cold Steve Austin from the arena. He says, you might find this videotape a little humorous as Stone Cold Steve Austin actually tried to get into the arena earlier in the night. So we see Stone Cold, the security guard telling Austin he's not allowed into the arena. And Stone Cold says, one way or another, I will get in. And then we see Vince McMahon back in the ring.
He promised he would.
He promised he would. Wow, hello. That whole little voice thing just fucked me up, man. That's perfect.
I know. Now you're going to be so screwed up with all the Vince McMahon isms. Yeah. But yeah, Stone Cold, now you're throwing me off. I'm trying to add a thought and trying to be professional, but hey, we're having fun, everyone. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad Austin threatened the guy. That made me mad. Don't rob the fans of Stone Cold Steve Austin entering the building, especially Nashville, buddy. I know you're trying to do your job. I know McMahon paid you. But we want to see one of the hottest stars of all time, and that is Steve Austin. Because that's the bottom line, son, because I said so. I got to work on the Austin impersonation, but I tried.
That's right, you tried. So Vince introduces the next WWF champion, Dude Love, who comes out in a suit again. And Dude Love says, Mr. McMahon, it seems ironic as May 31st draws closer, as Stone Cold Steve Austin's reign as champion comes to an end, that the dude becomes stronger, younger, and handsomer every day. He says May 31st will be a night where dreams come true for all of us. Brisco, it will be your hand that ends Stone Cold Steve Austin's title reign. Pat will announce me as the new champion, and will be my dreams come true when Vince, your strong and sensitive hand will hit the mat 1, 2, 3. You will raise my hand as new WWF champion.
That was a sweet moment between Dude Love and Vince McMahon. I can confirm a lot of women had Dude Love's poster, especially with the suit and the clean look that Michael Cole alluded to. He was, Dude Love, even in this incarnation, was really over with the women.
Yeah, the women were loving it, man. Big time. Speaking of women loving someone, Vince introduces Dustin Runnels down to the ring. And Vince says, unfortunately, Dustin had knee surgery, but you'll be fine. He says, you blame me for your problems with your dad and your wife. I gave you Goldust. You want to throw it all away to prove yourself. I'll let you do that tonight. If you can beat Dude Love, then you'll be named the new #1 contender and fight Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you don't beat Dude Love, I won't pay you for 30 days, but you will still have to work. Runnels accepts and nails Dude Love. However, Patterson, Brisco, and Dude attack Runnels until they are separated. So a big promo here, but we're going to see Runnels versus Dude Love. What do you think of that?
I thought it's the way to build up the angle. It had a lot of excitement because you didn't expect Runnels, Dustin Rhodes to deck Dude Love. You would figure he would be mad, but it's one way he can get his revenge on the man of love, speaking of Dude Love, and then for Brisco and Patterson to jump him and them all to triple team Rhodes was pretty memorable. It stood out, and then McMahon making him feel bad. That's typical Mr. McMahon, especially even back in '98. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's the way to open up a show. You got to have a important enough storyline that fans are going to go, oh, wow, we didn't expect it. you know what I mean? Just kind of the unexpectancy of it all.
Yeah. I feel you 100%. It's exciting to see more events, more of his evil side come out, and we'll get there later on too. More.
I'm very glad he's showing that evil side. It's about time. I mean, everybody's kind of knew it behind the scenes, but now Vince is showing us in front of the camera. And I'm just kind of kidding about that. I don't really know Vince McMahon, but just to try to freshen up things on my end, I thought I'd, try.
Well, speaking of trying, someone's trying against the arena. We don't know who it is yet. Jerry the King Lawler has someone under a blanket, and he's telling the person, keep hiding behind me. He tells security this person is supposed to protect Jerry Lawler from the Undertaker after last week's attack. We come back and King finds the person under the blanket on a phone, and he yells at them, don't wander away from me. So it's pretty funny. We don't know who it is.
It is comical.
We will find out eventually who it is, but so far it's funny seeing the shenanigans of King and the person under the
Lawler
blanket.
was so great. I mean, I know people can look back and say, well, this was kind of a little silly, but it's the little things about the way they were portraying the characters and the overall storylines and everything. Don't mean to sound redundant there, but with Jerry Lawler, it was a way to kind of always be planning and thinking ahead to get even with the Undertaker, or if it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, you just never knew what you were going to get with the Warzone on Raws.
Well, again, I'm going to segue. We don't know what we're going to get, but we will find out because Val Venis is going to be in action against Scorpio tonight. He's making his in-ring
It's
debut.
about time, Val.
That's right. After weeks, it's been like since after WrestleMania, I think he has been having his promos show up. But here are some quick notes on the match. Venus with 2 running clotheslines in the corner to Scorpio. Scorpio nails a kick and then a slam and then a spinning splash, which gets a 2 count. Venus nails a bridging German, which gets a 2. Scorpio misses a moonsault and Venus nails a money shot and gets a 3 count. So Val Venis is victorious in his first match on Raw Is War. What did you think of Val Venis in ring work? We saw his promo, so we know how he is, talking. What did you think of his in-ring ability?
I think Val Venis actually is very talented. Set aside his gimmick, it was for the times. I mean, that's why it was the Attitude Era. Scorpio, same deal. Very multiverse individual concerning his wrestling ability. I just felt like some of the matches, and I know we kind of pointed this out on the last episode, kind of were underwhelming. It was probably due to the time constraints. Everything just didn't always have to have a purpose or reason behind it. But for it to be his debut, when talking about Val Venis, and even with an opponent like Scorpio here, I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed with the effort here. And it's not that both guys didn't work hard. It was just the result was not very satisfying. And I know that's kind of comical when we're talking about Val Venis's gimmick, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I feel like these matches are just put on just to further a situation rather than just to have on a match. So I feel you, my friend.
That's a good point.
We go backstage and we see Stone Cold Steve Austin talking to a security guard, and he ends up beating the crap out of the security guard. He tosses.
What did that poor security guard do? I mean, I wouldn't have took the job if I knew Stone Cold Steve Austin was threatening me. He should have done the easy way, but he wanted to take the beating, and I'm sure he got paid some good money too. So he had a lot of options.
To a fucking goodness gracious, a garage door. Then he gets stomped on, and then Austin grabs a radio walkie-talkie and he says, "Vince McMahon's ass is mine." And we'll move right along because Stone Cold ends up coming.
Yeah, Austin's after McMahon. He's not going to keep him out of Nashville, out of the Music City, out of this building. He's coming for him. Austin, like JR would say, business is picking up here.
Well, business does pick up. Austin comes down to the ring and he says, "You can damn well bet your last bottom dollar Stone Cold Steve Austin will be at Over the Edge. I want Vince McMahon, Patterson and Gerald Brisco to bring their cowards asses out here and let's settle it." I will destroy every camera until someone comes out. So then Vince comes out and he says, who the hell do you think you are? This is my arena. Who do you think you are? Stone Cold says, I'm the person looking at 3 jackasses. I want all your asses, and that's the only way I'll have it. Vince says, I don't go to a street fight in clothes like these. You want a street fight with 3 of us? Pat says, I want to get in the ring with you. You said I sucked. Well, I don't suck. Then Brisco says, you don't call us stooges. I have respect for Mr. McMahon, and he allows me, and if he allows me, I'll kick your ass. Vince says, we don't want to put knots on your head, so you'll get 2 out of the 3. We are the 3 musketeers, one for all. And I think, like, what is it? One for all and all for one. And then also goes,
something to that effect.
He says, you all can go screw yourself. So we're going to get 2 out of the 3 of them, McMahon, Patterson, or Brisco is going to take on Stone Cold Steve Austin in a handicap street fight.
I love it.
I do too. I'm looking at 3 jackasses. I love that.
Well, and just those lines, and then with Patterson and Brisco, I mean, they're already legendary, but how good were they in these roles? As legitimately being that close to Vince McMahon in real life. That's why people could believe it. That's what was the wonderful dynamic between all 3 of the personalities, then adding Dude Love and then having Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was just a monumental factor in the whole equation. I just thoroughly enjoy the antics of not just DX, but also the Stooges, and to see them take on Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm kind of laughing, but in a good way. I thought was going to be just epic, man. I couldn't wait to get to the end of the show, even though this had some solid segments, but everybody was wanting to see what Austin was going to hand out to Brisco and Patterson. And I love the way Brisco said McMahon.
McMahon.
That to me, it was the icing on top of the cake.
Yes. Well, we get another promo from Edge. I'm excited for him. Hopefully we'll see him soon.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the Edge debut. I remember watching early on in his career, but I can't recall exactly when he debuted. And now I'm going to finally get that opportunity going back, revisiting the Attitude Era years of Raw. So I'm very ecstatic about that.
Yes, you're going to see it soon. We then see Jerry Lawler, the person that's with him that's under the blanket is supposed to getting makeup done. He's like, you don't need to get your makeup done. You take care of me and I'll take care of you. And then we go.
Yeah, it's the banner. I mean, the way Lawler and who we would find out later, I'm not going to give it away yet because I'll let you have that honor. This was just vintage King, and he was going to try his best to fool everyone. And I'll let you continue, but I'm just with you.
So Sable comes out to the ring now, and Sable says, Mark, can you come out here, please? So then Marc Mero comes out, and Sable says, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. This can be an amicable split. Mero says, I have your contract right here, and the contract says that you must do what I say, so you get in my corner or I'll sue you. So he's in control of Sable pretty much now. And Terry Funk is going to take on Marvelous Marc Mero with Sable. We'll talk about the promo after the match. Funk sends Mero into the steps and nails a pile driver, which gets a 2. The referee gets knocked out in the match, and Mero nails a low blow. Mero hits a TKO, but Sable distracts the referee, allowing Terry Funk to nail a DDT on Mero, which gets the 3-count victory for Terry Funk. So Sable now having to honor this contract of Mero being able to tell her what to do. What did you think about this?
I thought it was just a way to tie in Mero and Sable's issues on camera. This was, for what it translated to the audience, pretty good, but I never thought Mero was able to achieve the level of superstardom in the WWF that he probably should have or could. That was the unfortunate aspect to all of it. But to see him take on Terry Funk, how you broke that down, I thought that was a good match. But once again, was it one that was going to be to Austin's level? No, but to be fair and respectful to all these great athletes, I mean, how could it be? Because you're talking about Austin. So that's an unfair comparison, but it put it into perspective. Just the way, the little nuances, Sable actually, even though she's got that obligation to Mero, she was going to distract and try to do everything she could to make his life miserable. But, as stated, did you say Funk won the match though, didn't he?
He did, because
that's what I thought. I was about to say Mero accidentally, but I thought, well, Sable distracted, and you have to forgive me. My memory.
No, you're fine. Listen, there's a lot, but this will help you. The 1-800 collect call rewind. We see from last week Undertaker beating up King after King made those remarks about his mother and Paul Bearer the week before.
Yeah, Undertaker wasn't going to have it. No more mama jokes from Bearer or Kane. He's had enough.
We then get our next match, the DOA taking on LOD 2000. Some notes: Hawk nails an enziguri to change his back. Animal nails a powerbomb to Skull, and 8-Ball ends up running in and rolling up Animal again. The twin brothers are able to use the fact that they're twins to get the win over LOD 2000. I'm not really impressed with this storyline between these
I was
guys.
about to say I was ready for this to be done probably a couple weeks ago. I mean, and I hate saying that because there's a lot of great wrestlers, even including DOA, but this just, I didn't feel that there was a chemistry here. Maybe I'm wrong because they were programmed a lot during this time frame. I mean, what were your thoughts? That's my same sentiments. I just didn't understand it. The logic, I guess, is why we're keeping these guys together. I guess it was more filler.
I just didn't care. Yeah, it was just more filler. I feel like people thought that maybe this would be a classic tag rivalry, and it really didn't do anything.
Well, I think that's where the tag team division was limited. I mean, they didn't have a lot of tag teams, other, the New Age Outlaws, and maybe I'm wrong on my recollection. That could be why they had to go this certain direction, and why we just unfortunately had to see it every week, and we were growing tired of it. I mean, eventually
it goes on, like this shit, like, spoiler alert, lasts until October. So we're on a whirlwind.
So I might as well just get over it, like the Eagles song, and just roll with the punches, because we're going to get a lot of this still yet to come.
Yeah. We then get a promo of Paul Bearer getting DNA tested to prove that he is the biological father of Kane, which dun dun dun.
Yeah, Paul Bearer, this is what made him so vital to the brother story with Kane and Undertaker, taking the DNA test, wanting to validate that he is the daddy for Kane, and another way he can stick it to Undertaker. I mean, to have the footage of him in the hospital with the doctor taking that sample via the needle, he was wanting to make sure people knew, hey, listen, I'll go to these lengths, and we'll find out later the answer. But I always loved how this evolved with Kane and Undertaker. And I had messaged you, Ant, and told you and recommended go and watch the WWE Rivals.
Mm-hmm.
It's Undertaker and Kane, and you'll love it, because as we're doing these episodes of Raw, you can start, imagining all this starting to unfold. And it's all part of it. So that's what's cool about doing this show. And then with A&E doing the biographies and the Rivals series, I mean, DX is in one. Yeah.
You're killing the game, sir. Yeah, I checked it out. It was good. It was very good. I enjoyed it.
It was awesome.
I had seen it before, but it was very good. I enjoyed. Definitely recommend those shits. They're very good.
Yeah, well done.
So Jerry Lawler walks down with the mystery person, and he joins commentary, and he says he takes off the blanket, and the person is revealed to be Al Snow, who again was kicked out of the arena last week, and he joins the King on commentary, and King says, "I will give Al your meeting with Vince." He says, just, make sure to keep me safe. And he makes Al Snow sit in the crowd.
Yeah, he was having to command him like a kid. King cannot control Al Snow. He just wanted a meeting with Vince McMahon, is all that Al Snow and Head wanted. What a team they were. And then JR saying they were going to segue to something else, and it was, of course, part of it that Al Snow kind of runs across the broadcast booth. Just very cleverly done by Al Snow. I love this character he was portraying.
Yeah, just a crazy
just off the wall, a little bit nuts, but you never knew what you were gonna get next, what was gonna occur. So that's what made everyone enjoy it even farther.
We're gonna enjoy this one. We have Dude Love with Brisco and Patterson taking on Dustin Runnels. If Dustin loses, he will work for free for 3 days. If he wins. He gets Dude Love's opportunity to get over the edge for the title. And here are some quick notes. Not a lot of action here. Dude Love sends Dustin Runnels into the steps. Brisco distracts Runnels, allowing Love to apply the mandible claw, and Runnels loses. So Runnels is now going to work for free, and Dude Love will still take on Stone Cold over the edge. Kind of feel like this match was just thrown together just to have a match because
yeah, exactly.
There's no like the implications weren't met. So it's kind of like, yeah.
Just think about it. You've got Dude Love, you've got Dustin Runnels. Both are great wrestlers. Both have the psychology. And then you add Brisco and Patterson. And it's even a part of your biggest storyline with McMahon and Austin and Dude Love.
Yeah.
And it didn't deliver. I was once again a little disheartened by what we got.
Me too. Well, I'm also disheartened by this. We see Stone Cold Steve Austin getting arrested backstage. And Vince says, I'm glad they're going to take your ass away, which I'm assuming he's getting arrested because he wasn't allowed in the building.
Sure. But what did Stone Cold ever do to Vince McMahon? I mean, for him to be arrested and they showed him in the cop car, I thought it was brilliant because it added the realism to it all. And that's what this Attitude Years of Raw was trying to achieve. And they did that and more. They accomplished it.
So much shit. And again, this is like, we've seen Austin get put in the cop car before, but this is, now we're like, what is this going to do for our match? Speaking of Kaientai attacked the Headbangers before their match tonight, and we then get the match, the Headbangers taking on.
We never get it thanks to Kaientai. They're always so sneaky and quick.
Bastards.
Yeah, leave it to them.
Kaientai with Funaki Yamaguchi-san, and here are the notes. Yamaguchi-san hits Trasher with a flagpole and chokes him with it. Dick Togo nails a springboard cannonball. Funaki sends Thrasher into the steps, and Kaientai attack Mosh until Bradshaw and Taka Michinoku run out and take out Kaientai. Kaientai get the DQ victory. This is a decent match. These guys from Kaientai are awesome. A lot of them, I think, were from BWO Japan, from ECW.
Yeah, they originated in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
No, I think it was a decent match, but once again, the Kaientai story, even as good as some of the arcs are, the formulas they used back then, I was losing my patience with it a little bit. So I was glad we finally got a match with the Headbangers. So that made everything better. And you're right, it was not a bad match considering out of all the matches, this one actually has been better. I mean, the more improved segments. So I'm with you. There was a lot of talent on both sides. I thought the Headbangers were underrated. A lot of people don't think of it as the Headbangers, I should say, as being that good, but they were solid hands to have.
I agree. The Headbangers were okay. They get a little stale towards the end, but we'll get there. We then get the Casual GTX Slam of the week, and that is Vader nailing the Vader bomb to Barry Windham last week on Raw. We then got another footage of Kane now getting his blood work done to prove DNA testing. D-Generation X then come out, which is exciting, and X-Pac has a microphone. Because I know there are WWF superstars watching us. I want to say DX got the game. Triple H says, I'm a hell of a drummer. I can bang a skin. He says, ladies, take a swing and back. I'll let you twirl my stick. Road Dogg then says, rocking Cannibal Lecter. If you think you are gonna, he's calling Cannibal Lecter Owen Hart. If you think we are gonna let you come down that aisle and take our titles, you got another thing coming. Law around here is DX. Triple H says, Rocky, remember this. It's not know your role, it's shut your hole. So we're starting to see again the beginnings of the rivalry between D-Generation X and the Nation. We'll talk quickly about the match, and then
heating up.
When we come back, we'll go over our thoughts. So here is the match. The tag titles are on the line. The champions, the New Age Outlaws with DX members, taking on the Intercontinental Champion, The Rock, and Owen Hart with the Nation. Here are some notes. The Nation and DX brawl outside, and then the Nation and DX are kicked out, except for China. The Rock nails a low blow to the Road Dogg. people's elbow, which then gets a 2 count. And I'm always surprised by how many people kick out of the people's elbow because it wasn't his.
Oh, I know.
finisher.
To be such a signature finisher for The Rock, there was a lot of opposition that kicked out. Example, this match.
Yep. Billy Gunn then goes for a power slam, but Owen rakes his eyes and nails an enziguri, which gets a 2 count. Owen with a flying elbow to the Road Dog, and he bites the Road Dog's ear, causing the ear to bleed. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, the Road Dog's ear. He was bleeding. I mean, Owen Hart was going for it all. I mean, he wasn't playing. I mean, those teeth were connecting with some flesh of the ear.
Sure was. And then the Rock nails a rock bottom, and then Farouk runs out and nails a pile driver on the Rock when the referee's back is turned, and the Road Dog pins the Intercontinental Champion the Rock, and the New Age Outlaws are your champions. I think we can talk about this match quick before we go to break. What were your thoughts on seeing Farouk get involved and the New Age Outlaws get the win?
I was fine with the New Age Outlaws getting the win because it, from a logical side, Farouk interfering would cost the Nation the match because they turned on him. They made it personal. So Farouk's going to get his revenge, and who better to execute a pound driver to and cause those problems than for Farouk to do it to the Rock. So I was fine with it. I thought overall this match was pretty entertaining. I mean, anytime you got DX in the Nation of Domination, I feel they had chemistry, these factions, whether you put them in a tag team, a singles, or whatever special circumstance. It always was very fascinating, was these type of matches and even segments.
I agree. And just, I feel like with these teams, there was more action in this match, which was good to see. Speaking of
a whole
action,
lot more.
Stone Cold Steve Austin has been released from jail.
Thank God.
Which I think right there is a good point to kind of leave off. And when we come back, we're going to have the results from Kane and Paul Bearer's DNA samples. And if Stone Cold is released from jail, does that mean that he will get his hands on either McMahon, Briscoe, or Patterson? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. We are covering our Attitude Years episode 27 recap, Raw Is War from May 18th, 1998. And it's me and Tyler here. We're still covering the show, and we're almost at the end of it. So
I know, it's hard to believe. This episode is flying by.
Yeah. We last left off with Austin being released from jail, but before we can see what happens with that, we see a doctor come down to the ring with Kevin Kelly, and the doctor says, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Paul Bearer is the biological dad of Kane.
Now we know the truth.
We know the truth. So now Kane and Paul Bearer come down, and Bearer says, Kane has accepted this a while ago. Undertaker, your mama was nothing but a 2-bit whore.
Yeah, that's harsh. Now that's going to draw Undertaker out for sure. I mean, that when you call his mom that word, that is fighting verbiage there.
Sure is. And he runs out and he has a choke slam to Kane. He beats up Paul Bearer. Kane then nails a choke slam to Undertaker, and Paul Bearer and Kane stomp on Taker until Vader runs down, and Vader clotheslines Kane to the outside, and Taker chases Paul Bearer backstage. So Vader comes out to help even up the score with Undertaker. What do you think? I mean, the two of them did fight at No Way Out of Texas, so there's still some unfinished business between Vader and Kane. But Vader, why do you get involved, man? Some family business over here.
Yeah, but there's still that unfinished business you were mentioning with between Vader and Kane, and Paul Bearer used to manage Vader. So there's a lot of good segues between not just Undertaker and Kane, but Vader. So I can see why it was necessary for him to come out and kind of aid the Undertaker, whether Taker needed it or not, in this circumstance. And I didn't have a problem with it. It just added it for me. And of course, I loved how Kevin Kelly, the doctor, set up the interview and the segments prior. And Paul Bearer is his daddy. He did the Darth Vader. He is Kane's father.
Mm-hmm. Like, now we know there's no speculation. He is the dad.
Yeah, he's not just telling lies. Paul Bearer, truthfully, is the biological father to Kane And this was just magical to me. I mean, it was part of the supernatural aspect to the whole angle, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I'm actually at a loss for words because I'm getting emotional knowing Paul Bearer is his dad. Hallmark could have created this like in a horror love story. It would have worked.
Nightmare, huh? Speaking of a Hallmark horror story, we have the handicap street fight. We find out the guest referee for this match is Commissioner Slaughter, and champion Stone Cold Steve Austin will be taking on the two men of Pat Patterson and Gerald Brisco. And here are some notes. Austin stomps on Patterson. He nails a stunner to Brisco and a stunner to Pat. However, Slaughter attacks Austin, who gets hit with a stunner. And then Dude Love runs down, but Austin clotheslines him to the outside. He sends Dude Love into the railing. And then a fan with a Stone Cold Steve Austin mask nails Austin with a chair. Takes off the mask to reveal it none other than Vince McMahon. Dude Love attacks Stone Cold Steve Austin, applying the mandible claw. And Raw goes off the air. Vince McMahon outsmarting Stone Cold Steve Austin here tonight on Raw. What do you think of that whole mask situation?
I thought it was good because for McMahon to do that, we haven't seen the chairman come up with that kind of trick, if you will, to one up the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I was just entertained by Brisco and Patterson and Dude Love and Austin in this street fight, seeing their attire and the way they were bumping all over the ring for Stone Cold and selling was tremendous. I laughed in a good way, also in a comical sense, but it was nostalgic for so many of us as fans, including yourself and everyone involved. I was trying to think of the right terminology to really describe this contest, but it was awesome from that regard. Just seeing Vince dress up as a fan, attack Austin with a steel chair, and you never knew what you were going to expect from week to week. And that was the beauty of this period of wrestling.
Yeah, this is the first time you're seeing, aside from Bret Hart, a boss getting involved and fucking talent over. And,
we had seen it since, Hart and McMahon in Montreal, and then seeing it now, even escalating more and more on a weekly basis. And then you never knew what they were going to come up with next. Like you mentioned, McMahon dressing up as the fan, having Brisco and Patterson take on Austin, or Dude Love getting involved. And then also Dustin Runnels. I mean, he got involved in this whole thing. DX the Nation. I mean, everything seemed to, even though they were even separate stories, would tie in. Undertaker, Kane. I mean, you could go down the line.
Just great. A lot of great stuff. This is a great episode.
It was fun.
Before we wrap up, what was your favorite moment from the night?
Paul Bearer revealing that he is Kane's dad. We didn't need Maury or Dr. Phil for that. We got the doctor in Nashville to confirm. A very highly recommended doctor, by the way, on the DNA testing. And of course, that was one of them. I felt the street fight I know I keep going Austin and McMahon or Kane and the Undertaker, but I can't help it. I just said this was a reminder of why I fell in love and was actually adjusting and evolving as a fan, because I like the old school stuff, and this kind of challenged that. However, I did come away with like, this is good TV. I mean, not just as far as wrestling, but even with this genre, it helped. I mean, this was definitely ahead of its time, even back in the late 90s.
Yes, sir. 100%. All right, my friend, we are going to wrap up now. Next week is episode 28 of the Attitude Years Raw Is War, coming to you live from
I can't wait.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're then going to go Over the Edge in Your House. That's episode 29. They're going to be live in Milwaukee. And then episode 30, Raw Is War, June 1st, 98, from Chicago, Illinois. A lot's going to take place. Tyler, thank you for joining me. I know this is
You're very welcome, man. It's always a fun time going, taking that trip down memory lane, if you will.
And I'm just excited to see what's going to happen next week. We know that
I am
Austin's
too.
he's not gonna play with Vince screwing him over. So
No, I mean, especially after what we just recounted and watched for prep for these programs, Austin is going to be more livid and want more of that vengeance, like only the Texas rattlesnake can dish out. And you better believe there's going to be some Steve Weisers involved.
yes, sir. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, and we will be back with Attitude Years episode 28.
We'll see y'all.